Hey guys, Boss and Ramos. This Sunday, December 25th, yes, Christmas Day, Miami Dolphins will be facing the Green Bay Packers at home. Dolphins 8-6, Green Bay Packers 6-8. Packers 2-5 on the road. Dolphins 5-1 at home. Yes, it is a game on Christmas. It's so joyful. Um, yeah, with that being said, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever uh, celebration you guys get into. Hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, Christmas Day, it's a very special thing. Usually, Christmas Day is heavily associated with basketball. Like it's always, no matter what day of the year, like of the week it is, basketball will be played on Christmas Day. Now, with it being on a Sunday, NFL gets its chance to shine. um, One thing we got to get into for both teams is both teams are in the thick of a playoff hunt. Dolphins currently hold the spot in the playoffs, and a win just keeps them there. Doesn't really do much except if the Chargers were to lose on Monday night. But with the expectation of them playing the Colts, gotta expect them to get a win there. But anything can happen. This Colts team is very erratic, and who knows what happens. But they could possibly go out there and win, or they could literally be dominated by the Chargers, which is more beneficial for the Chargers. But we'll see what happens there. Green Bay Packers, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of the playoff hunt, since this is pretty important, I'm gonna start off with this. But for the playoff hunt for the Green Bay Packers, it currently sits as they are in 10th place at 6-8. With a win, they move to 7-8 with the expectations of Commanders, Seahawks, and Lions. Whoever loses there benefits Green Bay as much as possible. At the time of me making this video, the teams that are in their way, Seahawks, Lions, Seahawks, Lions, and Commanders. Seahawks are losing to the Kansas City Chiefs 7-0. Who else is in the way? Lions are losing to the Carolina Panthers 7-13. So things are looking pretty good for them. Washington plays at 4 p.m., but they are playing the San Francisco 49ers. So not the easiest of road for the Washington Commanders. So with all things being said, at the end of Christmas Eve, December 24th, the Green Bay Packers could have a win, and you are a step closer to the playoffs. But a loss for them almost guarantees their eviction from playoff contention. Anyways, let's get into the ESPN matchup predictor, and then we can get into more things. ESPN matchup predictor has the Green Bay Packers at 40.9% chance of winning, Miami Dolphins 58.5%, a tie at 0.5%. Gambling odds, we have minus 3.5 for the Miami Dolphins in favor. Money line plus 158 for the Green Bay Packers, minus 190 for the Miami Dolphins. Over under at 50 total points. And I put it over there. It's very tiny. My bad. I got to make it a little bit bigger. When I was making it, I'm like, oh, this looks good. Put it back there. Did not. It's pretty small. Either way, let's get into some injuries, and then we can talk about what the teams have been doing so far this season. So right now, David Bakhtiari, offensive tackle for the Packers. He's listed as doubtful. And then Tipa Galilei, linebacker, he's on injured reserve. He just got placed this morning. And then Miami Dolphins, we have a list of injuries, but we'll just go over a few. Jeff Wilson, junior running back, is listed as questionable. Next three guys are all questionable. Bradley Chubb, linebacker, Eric Rose, safety, and Jalen Phillips, linebacker. Offensive tackle Eric Fisher is listed as doubtful. Now, both teams, with being in the playoff hunt, they're decent. They're decent. They are not playing up to expectations whatsoever. Any team with Aaron Rodgers is always expected to at least 100% be in the playoffs at this point of the year. You're in the playoff contention. You are in the mix. It's not you're trying to find your way into the mix, which is very upsetting for Green Bay Packers fans. And shout out to Joey. I know you're very upset about this whole ordeal of the Packers season so far, but there's growing pain. You just let go of your number one wide receiver in the offseason. You traded him away, but looking like both teams lost that trade. The addition of Devontae Adams to the Packers is not to the Raiders is not going very swimmingly because they're also struggling to find wins. And the Packers, the wide receiver room is not so good without them. A lot of young guys, a lot of just inexperience, more so than anything than young guys. The most experienced guy is Randall Cobb, and he's not really getting the field that much. That being said, could be a Dolphin killer. I'm just saying it now. All right, both teams points per game average. Packers 20.5, Dolphins 24.6. That's offensively. Defensively, Packers are allowing 22 points. Dolphins are literally allowing what they're scoring. It's pretty crazy. Total yards per game offensively, Packers are averaging 360, Dolphins 385. Passing, Packers are averaging 234. Dolphins are averaging 288. Yards rushing, Packers are averaging 126. Dolphins are averaging 96.9. The average for the Dolphins keeps going up and up, which is very good to see. You want to see that rushing average be above the hundreds, but right now it's so many under 100 games for the Dolphins in the season, so it's going to be very hard to get to the hundreds. But as long as they're averaging about 100 within these next couple of weeks, that's very good for the Miami Dolphins. It's showing signs of the run game developing and being beneficial to the team. Defensively, Packers are allowing 345 yards, Dolphins 374 yards passing, 96 for the Packers, 263 for the Miami Dolphins. Secondary is really banged up right now. Yards rushing allowed, 158 for the Packers, 111 for the Miami Dolphins. Run defense is looking pretty good. Christian Wilkins should be in the Pro Bowl. Don't even get me started on the Pro Bowl. I'm done. I'm done talking about the Pro Bowl. I know you guys might be upset about some snubs that happened, especially QB1 Tua, but is what it is. All right, last 5 games for both teams. Dolphins are currently on a 3-game losing streak. Packers on a 2-game winning streak. And then aside from that, they had a big win against the Dallas Cowboys. One on a 2-game losing streak against the Titans and Philadelphia Eagles. Both tough games. Titans should have been a one at least that they should have won, but wasn't the case. The Philadelphia game was tough because they were kind of going back and forth. Aaron Rodgers gets banged up, and that pretty much marks the end of that game for them. Alan Lazard, not Lazard, my bad. Jordan Love came in, and he was looking good. The only problem is it was too late for the Packers in that game against the Eagles. But then, since then, 2-game winning streak against the Chicago Bears and Los Angeles Rams. But now they have a tough opponent in the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins fans, you know what it is. 3-game road trip, lost every game. Very unfortunate. At least 2 of them were one-possession games. The San Francisco game was just a complete blunder. It is what it is. In terms of standings, both teams are not really in contention to win the division at this point. The best case scenario for the Dolphins, Buffalo loses out, Dolphins win out, and they could possibly win the division, but I'm expecting the Buffalo Bills to come back on the Chicago Bears today. Green Packers have no shot of winning the division. The Minnesota Vikings officially have won the division there. And then they're just fighting with the Detroit Lions within the division, and that's going to be the final game of the season. If things goes well for the Packers, they will probably have a win in your end type of game against the Detroit Lions, but who knows? So, like we already covered, injuries, gambling odds. What else? Just what the teams are averaging, what's on the line for both teams, playoff contention for both teams. I never mentioned that kickoff is at 1 p.m. So right now, there's a regular slate of games happening on Saturday. And then Sunday, there's only going to be 3 main games. There's going to be one in the 1 o'clock window, which is the Miami Dolphins. One in the 4 o'clock window, which is Broncos, Rams. And then one in the night window, which is going to be Buccaneers and Cardinals. All of these games, before the season started, looking like great games. You're going to have 2 on Rodgers. That is still happening. Still great. You're going to have Stafford versus Russell Wilson. Not happening. You're going to have Tom Brady versus Kyler Murray. Not happening. Kyler Murray tore his ACL. So, out of all the games you could watch on Christmas, watch the 1 o'clock game. Miami Dolphins hosting the Green Bay Packers. I think it's going to be a great game. Hoping the Dolphins win. Pick them to win in the game picks. And check that out if you haven't yet. All right, let's get into keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins. First and foremost, every week I said protect Tua. It's not going to be the first thing I say this week. It's going to be run the damn ball. In Buffalo, Miami Dolphins were running the ball very well. And what happened, late game situation, they shied away from it. Can't be doing that, especially when a lot of things are on the line. Division, playoffs, just things are on the line, and they shied away from what was working, and that was very unfortunate for the Miami Dolphins. Because now, I'm not saying the Dolphins put themselves in a hole, but they put them in a spot that is not very beneficial for them. You are now currently the last seed in the playoffs as the current standings. And, things could change with some results this week. But currently sit at the seventh seed. You have teams nipping at the bud. You have the Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Jets, and the Las Vegas Raiders, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, who all still have a slight chance if the Dolphins choke. Do not choke this. You guys have been in the playoff contention pretty much all season long. I don't think the Dolphins have really fallen out of the playoff contention. Maybe when they were 3-3, without those circumstances were kind of crazy with the whole Tua injury and all that stuff. It is what it is. He's come back, led us to 5 straight wins. Unfortunately, 3 straight losses on the road. It's tough. Now, that being said, run the ball. Secondly, protect Tua. Simple. Each and every week, if we have a clean Tua's going to perform. Last week, kept him pretty clean, but, Buffalo put a lot of pressure on him. And I'm expecting something similar from this Green Bay Packers team. Why? Because they're just like that. They will get into his face. They will make him uncomfortable. That's been the story of their defense. The pass rush has been pretty good. They have some guys coming back, like Rashawn Gary and stuff like that. He's been back. These are things that the Dolphins need to look out for. So, offensively, run the ball, protect Tua. Receivers, keep your eye on the ball. Last couple of games, the Chargers and the Bills games. Some balls per broadcast view may have looked like, Tyreek lost it in the middle of the field. No, that one was just a little bit off thrown. The one to Waddle on the sideline last week in Buffalo, Waddle just lost sight of the ball. If Waddle just puts out his hands, he catches that ball. Things could be a lot more different. But things are looking good. Not the best, but looking good. I was hoping Dolphins could possibly be, 10-4 at this point. But, there's a lot of things that went into that. But we're in a good spot. 7th seed. Defensively, get to Aaron Rodgers. He's been banged up all year. Not saying to injure the guy, but make him uncomfortable. Just like how the Packers are more than likely going to make Tua uncomfortable, make Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable. I understand. He can go off script and extend plays and find open guys. That hasn't been the moral of the story this entire season for the Packers. And especially if he does extend those plays, guys are dropping balls. They're not leading the league in dropping balls, but I think Bills and Dolphins have the league lead in dropped receptions, which is unfortunate. That being said, the Packers with Aaron Rodgers, the whole story, as old as to tell, is Aaron Rodgers rolls out, find guys, and boom, big plays happen. That hasn't been the story for them this year. So you want to avoid allowing that from happening at all. And then on top of that, they have 2 really good running backs in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Make sure to have a guy on them at every chance. On the run game, passing game, whatever it may be, stay with those guys because those are Aaron Rodgers' main 2 weapons right now. The receivers are coming along for them, Christian Watson, Alan Lazard, Romero Doubs, all that stuff. But the main 2 guys on this offense, aside from Aaron Rodgers, is Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. In terms of fantasy, I would rather have A.J. Dillon, go off on the Dolphins, not Aaron Jones. So, Dolphins, can you help me out there? If you guys do let one get loose. But that's pretty much it. Run the ball. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, hopefully he's healthy to play because I liked how he's been playing this season. And then on top of that, defensively, put pressure on Rodgers and limit their running backs. Running backs are key for this Green Bay Packers offense. If they can't get going, then a lot of things will start stalling out for them. But that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's a bit of a long one, but it's a very big game for both teams. So wanted to give it its due diligence. And I just want to wish you guys all a happy holidays, Merry Christmas. In terms of post-game video, not entirely sure what the Christmas Day plans are at the moment. I know there's going to be gift opening. There's going to be Dolphins game. Don't know what else comes after those two. But with that being said, maybe you won't see me in this spot. You'll probably see me at my family's house. Either way, bring the camera with me, and just in case. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, Christmas Day, with hopefully a post-game victory video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.